5 years ago, I made a hyper-realistic cake of a lava lamp, and I
Failed.
Big time.
My lava lamp cake was a flop. Literally, it flopped over. But that was 5 years ago. And since then, I have made hundreds of insane hyper-realistic cakes that have been seen by billions of people. So what I'm getting at is, I have more experience now, and I am ready to take on the lava lamp. My name is Natalie Sideserf, and I make cakes that don't look like cakes. And today, I'm gonna make a cake of a lava lamp. I am so ready to remake this cake. I've been putting it off for 5 years. And husband Dave is sick of me bringing it up every other month, saying,
Dave, do you remember that lava lamp? Remember how I messed it up and then I just gave up?
I think the reason that I think about it so much is because that's just not like me. It's so rare that I give up, especially when it comes to cakes. Back then, I just thought that there wasn't a way I could make it work. And I was kinda right, because I made some decisions that I know now weren't very wise. But I've learned a lot since then. Have I learned enough to pull this off? We're about to find out. Yeah, I've got 5 more years of experience now, but that doesn't mean that what I'm doing today is definitely gonna work. But I do understand the materials that I'm working with much better, so I think I have a better chance of succeeding. I feel like a lot of you are thinking,
A lava lamp? How are you gonna make the glass part of the lamp?
I'm actually gonna make it the same way that I made it the first time I tried. I'm wrapping acetate around a real lava lamp and taping the edges. This is gonna be my mold. It's not the most sturdy mold, but it will be the perfect lava lamp shape. You know, because I'm using the actual lamp. The first time I did this actually worked. This was definitely not one of my bad decisions. I'll get to those in just a minute. Let's just stick to what I did right while we can. It doesn't last long. Now that it's all taped up, I can pull the acetate off the lamp and place it onto the real lava lamp base. I'm drawing a line with a marker, so I know how far to fill it up. Oh, I didn't even tell you what I'm filling it up with. Can you guess what I'm gonna use? What's edible and see-through that looks like liquid, but it's not liquid, it's actually a solid? Here's a hint that'll give it away. It's jiggly. Gelatin. I'm gonna use gelatin. Gelatin is the perfect edible see-through material to create this effect. And it's what I used the last time I tried to make this cake, which brings me to one of my big, huge mistakes. Last time, when I took the gelatin out of the mold, it was too floppy. It just like flopped over. I hadn't used a lot of gelatin at the time, so I didn't know what I did wrong, but I think I know now. I don't think I used enough gelatin, so this time I used the same amount of water, but double the amount of gelatin. Now I won't know if this is gonna fix my problem until I take it out of the mold later. You know those wax blobs that float around lava lamps once they heat up? You know, they're the lava part. Well, the first time I made this cake, I made the blobs out of modeling chocolate, and that was a big mistake because the liquid surrounding the blobs was yellow gelatin. A lot of you probably know this, but water and oil, they don't mix. Oil repels water. Chocolate contains oil. Gelatin is mostly water. You see where I'm going with this? The yellow gelatin would not stick to the chocolate blobs. They hated each other. The yellow gelatin started to eat away at the modeling chocolate. The chocolate was like disintegrating. It was crazy. Before I even did it, I thought to myself, I don't think this is gonna work, but I wanna try anyway because I can't think of any other way to do this. With my experience with cakes, sometimes things actually do work that you wouldn't think would work, but that wasn't the case that time. Fast forward 5 years later, and I think I have a solution. See what I'm popping out right here? That is a modeling chocolate blob, but this time I used it to make a mold. And guess what I'm gonna fill it with? I'm filling it with green gelatin because I think that gelatin will stick to gelatin, right? Because they're both the same material. But there is one issue that this could create. Make that 2. 2 things could go wrong. Oh, come on, what is this? 3 things. There's an air pocket. The gelatin didn't seep into that top blob all the way. And look at my mold, it's all cut up. I can't use it again. You know what? I'm not gonna redo all that. I'm just gonna make that the back. Like I said earlier, 3 things could go wrong now that I'm using gelatin for the blob. That air pocket was the first. The second thing that could go wrong is that I'm taping a thin skewer to a cardboard cake board and I'm about to flip this whole thing over. Will the gelatin blob slip off? Do you wear clothes or know someone who does? Well, get yourself some more by heading over to shop.sideserfcakes.com. That's where you can get some Sideserf Cake Studio clothes. We also have coffee mugs, stickers, beach towels, all kinds of stuff. I'll put a link below so you don't get lost on your way to the store. And now back to the cake. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta be gentle, so gentle. And it's sticking. Yeah, it's on there. It's good. Now I just have to carefully place it into my acetate cone, trying not to touch the sides. And my green blob is below the line.
Bruh.
That means there would be a gap. I do not want a gap. So I'm adding a foil halo to the cake board to raise it up a bit. This will definitely make this whole thing more fragile. As if it's not fragile enough. This is a blob of gelatin hanging from a thin skewer that's taped to cardboard and foil, resting on an acetate cone placed in a glass. How did I get here? You know what? Whatever works. DIY. So I'm placing it back in, and that is much better. The green is slightly above the line. That's where I want it. It's perfect. Now that I know it lines up, I took the blob back out and I'm pouring yellow gelatin into the cone. This is where the third thing that could go wrong might go wrong. Because that yellow gelatin, it's liquid, and that means it's warm. It could possibly melt my green blob, and then I'd be left with a greenish yellow cone and no blob. All we can do is wait and see how it cools. While we wait, I'm gonna work on the lamp base. I don't know if you noticed this, but everything on a lava lamp is so narrow. It's not like a light lampshade with a heavy base. The liquid makes it all top heavy, and the base is hollow. The lava lamp is the skyscraper of lamps. That is not the ideal shape to replicate in cake, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm making a mold for the base because that means it'll be the right size, so that my gelatin top matches my cake base. I gotta get as perfect as I can get with these measurements. I'm only making a mold of the top half of the base because the top and the bottom are the same shape. So rather than try to make one mold of the entire base, which would be more difficult, I can make two separate molds and then stack the two. While we wait for the mold to set, I'm gonna make a cord. That cord right there. I love the idea of making a lava lamp cake. It might end up being one of my favorite cakes, if it stays upright and doesn't collapse like last time. A lot of the changes that I made from the first time I tried to make this cake actually brought on new challenges, but I'm hoping this time my solutions actually work. So rather than scrap the whole cake, like last time, I end up with a standing cake that I can be proud of. The mold is set. It's time to see how this looks. Just gotta peel the box away and have a look. I'm hoping for no bubbles, a nice, clean, smooth mold. All good so far. Just gotta pull the red mold off the real base, and I just realized I can't get the mold off. The cone shape doesn't allow for it. I did not see this coming. Can't pull it down, can't pull it up. I gotta cut the side. There's no other way to get it off. I don't love doing this because it creates a line where the mold is cut. But I'll just face that line to the back wall. Just face those imperfections to the back wall. I'm doing that a lot with this cake. That goes to show you how difficult it is. Rather than cut a straight line, I cut it zigzag. That way I can take the mold off, and then when I line it back up, it fits together like a puzzle piece. Lining up a smooth straight cut is more difficult than lining up a puzzle piece. And there we go. We found a way. Even though I had to cut down the side of the mold, it looks pretty good. I don't see any bubbles or major imperfections at all. That means I'm gonna have a nice clean base to fill with my cake. I'm filling the mold up with gray chocolate and I smooth it up the sides. Then I put the entire mold in the fridge to chill and take it out about a half hour later. Pulling the chocolate out of the mold is always a little bit scary. The chocolate's pretty fragile and it can crack. And I have to make two of these. Let's not forget. Here you can see a line in the chocolate where I cut the mold. So we're just gonna give it a turn. That faces the back and the chocolate's looking really smooth. All that's left is to fill it with cake and my signature green buttercream, of course. It really feels like things are finally going my way. I'm on the right track. I really think this base is gonna look good, but I can't help but think about the other parts of this cake, the ones I'm less confident with. Because at this point, I know that the green and yellow gelatin top of this lamp cake is cool, so it's ready for me to have a look and see if that warm yellow gelatin melted my green gelatin blob. If it did melt, that means I have no lava in my lava lamp cake, which would be unacceptable. I've been so busy working on other parts of the cake that I haven't even looked at it yet. Well, the time has come. Let's see how it looks. The green didn't bleed into the yellow. What a relief. My green blob is still there. This is fantastic, but I'm not out of the woods yet. The biggest mistake that I made while trying to make this lava lamp cake 5 years ago was that the gelatin top was super flimsy. I was at this point that I'm at right now, taking off the tape, I peeled away the acetate, and the whole thing fell over on its side. So here we go, I gotta pull it away. Okay, already better than last time. Doubling the gelatin may have worked. The texture feels less like jello this time, and more like a giant gummy candy. So it is more sturdy, but I won't know for sure if it's gonna fall over until I place it on the cake base. I put so much time into this. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna be really disappointed. All right, let's go. This is the moment of truth. I did it! It's straight, it's super straight, nice and clean. And look at the glare from the lights, the gelatin is so smooth. It really looks like glass. And I cannot wait to cut it. We gotta cut it, let's cut it. cut that gelatin in half all the way and see that cross section. This is so satisfying. The cut and being able to remake this cake 5 years later and pulling it off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. And if you like this cake, subscribe to my channel right now. I post a brand new cake every week. And I'll see you next week for another cake. What a great day.